So I'm going to say, okay, so I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, and you tell me how you feel about it, and then we can go from there. Okay, so
All right, you start it off.
I I absolutely loved it, 100%. How about you? I'm
Well,
nervous.
I mean, like, why did you love it? Like, tell us a little bit. Not going into any details, but like,
No
how did
spoilers.
how did how did it make you feel? How did it make you feel?
Yeah, well, so okay, so Tom Holland's Spider-Man, if you look at Homecoming, um, Far From Home, and this one, you never really got a sense that the MCU knew what they were doing with Spider-Man. When you look at Homecoming, it felt okay as an introduction, but then you look at Far From Home, it was absolutely terrible. And
Hmm.
so you never really understood what they were trying to do. But then you have this movie that just came out and it
I agree with you
answered,
on both counts of both of those other two movies. Yeah.
yeah. But then you have this movie and it kind of solves all the problems almost perfectly. Like if someone told me that at the end of this movie you are going to have the Spider-Man that you've been wanting since you first saw Tom Holland as Spider-Man, I would have been like, no way. But then you definitely got it, and it solved so many problems. It just fixed so many different issues. That's not only is it a success as a piece of entertainment, but it's also a success from the evolution of comic book storytelling. Like if you're looking at the MCU and you're looking at comic book movies, and everybody's saying like, comic book movies are getting stale, getting old. This one has reinvented it to the point where it's almost impossible not to like it. Like you have to be pretty cynical to watch this movie and then be like, "Well, this is terrible." So it was just all around. Like I got teary several times. I didn't know it was going
Hmm.
to happen, and then it was just like perfect. And like I'm generally sad. Like I'm worried about what's going to happen next. So I'm generally sad that we might not see another Tom Holland Spider-Man, which could be. I don't know. Your reaction, Mike? I'm super nervous about it.
All right. I smiled a lot when I was watching this. I cried a few times. I laughed some. I uh, I tapped my son on the leg at one point in the movie. Um, but I got to tell you, we ranked the MCU recently. I know you would put this movie at the top of that ranking now, having
Yes,
seen
hundred
it.
percent.
Okay.
100%.
And
I
that's
would
in
argue
front.
it's
That's in front of that. I mean, it's in front of everything, but clearly, it's in front of Captain America: The First Avenger, which was your previous number one.
yeah, I would argue that this is the best comic book movie ever made. Period.
Okay. I would not argue that. For me,
All
it
right.
does not displace my number one. Um, and I'm still not done processing yet. So if I came away thinking this was the worst or the best out of the MCU, clearly I'd be able to say no, it's the new number one, or no, it's the new, bottom of the barrel. Um, right now, I'm thinking it's somewhere in the middle third, is what I'm kind of thinking right now.
That's fair.
And
So
a
like what,
lot,
like maybe 10, 12, 15?
somewhere between 8 and maybe 15, something like
That's
that.
fair. That's completely fair. 100%.
But
Especially coming from you because you're not a comic book like nerd necessarily. Yeah, it fits. It
I
totally
definitely
fits.
see how you would rank it very high, and I would not, because it has a lot of fan service that you enjoy more than I do. Um, but a lot of it was, we've been talking about what I was afraid of this movie being, right? And it kind of was what I was afraid of it being, but um, the other aspects of the movie were so good that it kind of raised the entire movie to um, a higher level. I think if all of the pieces weren't coming together, this would be near the bottom of my list, just because it's got too much stuff in it, and it's not the kind of Spider-Man movie that I want to see.
All right, all right. So
But
where's
what I do
oh,
really love about it is what you were talking about, where it fixes things. And so
mm,
coming out of this, assuming that Sony and Marvel and Tom Holland can all come together and be friendly and go forward with a new trilogy, this sets us up at the end of this movie. It sets us up for exactly what I want to see out of Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
yes, 100%. So where's